Welcome back to Elizabeth Plants. Today we have an international unboxing. Now I know I said I wasn't going to be buying or shipping plants during the winter season just due to the cold. However, I did not buy these plants. Aroid Market reached out to me and offered these plants in exchange for an unboxing, and so that's what I'm doing here today. I did pick out one of these plants. There are 8 total. I picked out straight from their website, from just scrolling through their website. I really enjoyed their website, so assuming that we have a good experience here, then maybe we'll be ordering from them in the future. And again, that is Aroid Market. So let's hop in. The box looks pretty similar to all my other imports. It's got all similar stickers. I already, right here in this like plastic pocket was the phytosanitary certificate, as well as some other paperwork, and I pulled that out so that we would be able to identify the plants, because I don't know if I'm going to know what they are just from looking at them. Because if you know me, I guess also if you don't, if you're new to the channel, I don't plant shop, I plant shop. So I don't go in search of plants. Specific plants, I go in search of shops that I really like, and then I browse what they have periodically. Simply because I find it makes just more sense for me if I wait and buy a larger bundle of plants from one shop versus buying one plant here and paying $30 in shipping, and one plant here and paying $30 in shipping, and one plant over here. I'd rather pay slightly more for a plant from a shop that I trust, and then also I'm getting multiple plants for the same shipping price generally. So that's kind of some background, I guess. But yeah, let's break into the packaging. I'm really excited. However, this is a really cold, so I want to preface that. This is a really cold week, and these were supposed to arrive on Monday. They attempted delivery at like 10:30 p.m. because that's appropriate, I don't know. And because I'm in an apartment complex, obviously the office was closed at 10:30 p.m. Well, I guess that's not obvious, but mine was. Even though my notes said that it closes at 5, call me if you want to show up with a plant later. They did deliver yesterday, but I was working, so I didn't get around to filming the unboxing yesterday. So this is first thing Wednesday morning, and we're gonna break into it. Now I have learned what is most effective is if you cut off this end and try and access it this way. So this fluff stuff is actually something we haven't seen in a long time. Our first Green Spaces order had this fluff stuff. However, I don't think I've had an order come in with it since. And now I just would again like to preface before these plants come out, not only is it winter, but delivery was kind of delayed, and also this shop offered these plants to me, which means that I cannot guarantee my plants will look like your plants if you order from them. So let's dive in. Okay, so right now what I'm seeing is all of the root bundles. It looks like it's pretty much packaged the same as the other imported plants that we've ordered before. And they're gonna come out in one lump. That actually makes it a lot easier. Oh, there's a note. I almost missed that. Thank you, and we hope that you are satisfied. AroidMarket.com. That's really cute. I hope every order comes with this, because this is a nice touch that none of the other shops, in my experience, really do. So I like that. And also, it appears that they are labeled in legible writing, which is not that end of the world, because either you know what you ordered or you can read the slip. But that's a nice touch, and I don't know if that's just for me. But we've got a couple of smaller bundles, and then a couple of larger bundles, so let's just jump into it. I did look over the phytosanitary certificate to see what I was getting, but either way, I want to start with the plant that I picked out. And this is a wish list plant. Not that I've gotten around to making that video for you guys to know that this is a wish list plant of mine. I actually, so you guys probably, I mean, if you're not new here, you don't know. But if you've been around and watched a lot of my videos, you might know that my like #1 wish list plant is an actually variegated Philodendron Verde. They had allowed me to pick from the sold outs as well. And that was one that was sold out on their website, so I asked for it, and that was not one that they had it available to give to me. So I tried, but I did not get that one. Instead, I went with another wish list plant that they had. I don't actually remember if it was sold out or not. And it is the Philodendron Giganteum. And actually, for experiencing cold temperatures, this looks really good. And I believe I got the variegated Philodendron Giganteum. I'm not sure how stable the variegation is. The variegation is very small on these plants, which doesn't bother me. And then this one's unfurling. This one actually has more variegation like the other small one does. I mean, first off, it looks really healthy, which I'm surprised because of the cold, but let's jump into the root system and see what it looks like. All right, so it's actually very clearly a cutting. It's got a stump, a pretty sizable stump. And some of the roots look really rough. Like this one you can tell had, maybe I'll put it on my shirt, had some root rot because the sheath is just pulling right off. But there are other roots that are white. Yeah, some of these roots definitely experienced some rot. Hopefully that won't affect its ability to settle too much. Because this plant has a stump, I will have to put it in moss, and I don't know if I have any moss, so that might prove to be a problem. I might have to order some moss. But we've got this guy, and I think we can bring him back if he's even struggling. So that's really exciting. I'm really excited to have this plant. What my favorite part about a gigantum is, you know, how big they get. Because I like a good large plant, and it's a problem because I live in an apartment. Let's do some of the smaller ones. Now this one's got a small root bundle, so I want to do this one first. And it is a Epipremnum Snow Queen. So actually this is a pretty common plant where I live, but I know it's not a common plant everywhere. Yeah, so this is actually the plant that I call the Pearls and Jade when we do tours. This is a really beautiful, beautiful specimen. Lots of beautiful nodes. It'll make a really good addition to my plant because my plant is small. It is a really beautiful pothos. Pretty hardy, but definitely more sensitive than others. It's a little wilty right now, but it's beautiful. Let's check out the roots. So this is definitely a small root system, but it looks like it's a very healthy root system. Now, one thing that worries me about adjusting this plant is I found when pothos stems start to wrinkle like this one is, I don't actually even know if you'll be able to tell, but when they wrinkle like this, they don't necessarily root versus rot. So hopefully it'll root simply because it's already rooted, but hopefully it'll adjust really well because it's rooted, despite the wrinkles. I'm actually going to cut off this little itty bitty stem because it's black and smushy, and we don't need that rot spreading because this is a plant that I will be putting in water to adjust. Just to give you another view. And actually I didn't notice, but we've got a leaf coming up. It's a nice beautiful vine. It's a pothos that I really like, and I was sad when mine started to die. It's alive, but it could use a friend like this. All right, we've got another one with a small root system right here, and it is actually a Hoya. I'm not very good at Hoya, but it's a Dischida Variegata. I have no idea what this is, but if any of you are Hoya fans, then please find yourself in my comments giving me tips. I'll definitely be doing some care research and would love your own experience tips. Oh, this is really beautiful. Look at this. It's really beautiful. I don't know how common or uncommon this one is, but I love the variegation. Oh, I hope you guys will be able to see it. It's like on the edges, sure, but also there's like subtle variegation in the leaves. It looks almost like frost. But this is really beautiful, and it's got nice hardy leaves, which is nice. I believe most Hoya do. But that just implies that it'll be pretty hard to kill. Now I know Hoya, and please correct me if I'm wrong, when they need water they get wrinkly. So that's what I'm gonna rely on, is when it needs water, it'll get wrinkly. Oh look, we have an aerial root right there. That's really cool. Let's check out the root system. So it has, again, very tiny root system. Now, I'm not sure if Hoya are like snake plants or cacti, and that they generally have a tiny root system, but I'm thinking that I'm going to lose a lot of this pretty plant simply because there's not enough root to keep it up, supplied with nutrients. So I'm a little bit worried about the well-being of this plant because of the teeny tiny root system. I'll put it on my shirt so you can see it better. Yeah, it's very small. It's white. I mean, it's a beautiful system, but it's small compared to the size of the plant and the weight of the plant. I'm gonna have to put this maybe in my prop box or something. Let's do another one. This is a small one, but it's got a bigger root system. And so actually I was offered to pick two plants. And the first one was the Giganteum and the other one was this guy. And when they didn't have the Paraiso Verde, but not reverted like an actual one, when they didn't have that available, they offered me to pick between two plants. And I don't remember what one of them was, but I had it already. And the other one was a Plowmanii. So that's what this is. This is the Philodendron Plowmanii. All right. So we've got a baby leaf here. Got this leaf, and we've got this leaf. And I can tell that these leaves are very fragile leaves, either because they're thirsty as I'll get out, or they're naturally that way. I'll show you the backs, because the back is really beautiful with the pink veining. You know, this is a plant that I knew was popular way back when I started importing plants and like almost got, I think, or maybe I got it, but then I kind of like didn't love it. I just didn't love the way that it looked, and so I've never thought about ordering one. But I think I kind of like it now more, and I think it's just because I've come to like more plants with silver on them, and I really don't love silver like as a general statement, but I'm seeing it in person, I really like it. This kind of a stem I have trouble with though. I've only ever struggled with plants with this type of a stem. It's like flat. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. It's like flat, and I don't know, it's a beautiful plant. It's a beautiful plant, and I hope that it's healthy and loves its new home. Let's break into the root system. It's a teeny tiny root system. I'm a little worried about these root systems with how small they are, because that's really small. The plant's definitely going to lose, if not all of its leaves, at least this one, because it's the oldest, probably. Then again, this one might not even be fully hardened off. Maybe that's why it's so floppy. So I don't know how to feel. I feel worried. I feel worried about this one because of the roots, but it's beautiful, and I hope that we can make it happy. Now let's do this one because it was standing in front of me. Now I don't actually know what this is. Like, I'm familiar with the name, but I can't picture the plant in my head. So it's a Standleyana. Now I know that name. It sounds very familiar, but I can't picture the plant in my head. Oh, that's what this is. Okay. So it's this plant. This is a plant that I've thought about getting in the past, but it just seemed like I didn't love the look of it enough to spend the money. So this is kind of cool that it was given to me. Now it's got like the bottom 3 leaves are all yellow. And this one's, you know, a little yellowing, but I mean hardly noticeable. Yeah, this is really pretty. Let me know in the comment. Oh, we've got to fold. Let me know in the comments down below if this is stable variegation or not. Now, also let me know in the comments down below. I can look this up myself, but while I have you here, is this a Monstera? Is it a Monstera Standleyana? Because for some reason that's what I'm thinking it is. And I don't know how accurate that is. I do not own any. Well, I own one Monstera, but it's never been happy. And that's pests. That's another video. But yeah, if this is a Monstera, then again, another plant I'm not super familiar with caring for. And we'll have to do some research. Would love your own personal tips if you own one of these or have owned one of these. Now this is the best root system we've seen all day. Not only is it like white and beautiful, but it's pretty substantial. It's very substantial. Is this a crawling plant or a climbing plant? Because the roots go all the way up to here, from here to here, and there's a lot of it. It's beautiful, yeah, and I can see the variegation on the stem. I don't know if my camera, if you'll be able to pick it up, but it's a beautiful plant. I'm kind of excited for this one because this is like, this haul is full of stuff I've never really done before. Who knows? Maybe I'll become a Hoya person. I don't have room for Hoyas. I can't become a Hoya person. Wow. Okay, we've got 3 more. Let's do this one because it's our next smallest, and it is the Philodendron Black Cardinal. This is, again, one that I've thought about getting, but didn't love enough to spend the money. But I believe it grows similar, unless I'm thinking of a different one. Maybe I'm thinking of the Dark Lord. But what I'm visualizing, it grows similar to my Moonlight and a couple others that I have, and I've had really good luck with those in this space. So if that's true, then we're in for a treat. And if it's not true, we're still in for a treat. Yeah, it is true. Yeah, it's got similar leaf style. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. I don't own any black plants, but this is beautiful. Imagine one of these freshly coming in and still being kind of shiny. And it does have one, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, it's in here, but let's check out the roots. I hope that they're good. We've got roots poking out the top, but that doesn't necessarily represent what's actually protected in here. You know, I've always heard that black plants are definitely more beautiful in person than they are like in a photo, and I can attest that that is very true. Now, I've also found that they tend to be a little bit more pricey because of the want for them, which is why I've never invested my money. So the root system's okay. It's a little bit more substantial than some of them have been, but definitely it experienced some rot. We've got a lot of missing sheaths and a lot of like broken sheaths. We've got some roots that are fine, and clearly newer. But they're all dark, which again, it doesn't necessarily mean anything that they're dark. It could just be that they were dyed from the soil or whatever substrate they were in. But actually it's a black plant. I don't know if roots would even be white on a black plant. I don't know that because some of them are red, and that makes sense because the stem is kind of red, which again, I don't know if the camera can pick up on the red, but the stem is kind of red or like a deep pink. It's a beautiful plant. Absolutely beautiful. Let me know if black roots on black plants is a thing, because that makes sense to me. And if that's the case, then these roots are healthier than I think. I'm excited for this one, and I think it'll do well in my house because every plant I have that looks like this does well in my house. Next, we will do this one. Now, I have never heard of this one. It is a Philodendron Erubescens Limited, which makes it sound like it's a hybrid to me. Like a hybrid that they're only making one batch of or something like that. And if that's the case, that's kind of cool. Now if limited is just part of the name, then that's tricky. They tricked me. But I have no idea what to expect. Looks kind of like a Philodendron red emerald, which I actually have right here. And my red emerald has more of a horse head shaped leaf, but other than that, it looks the same. The leaves look very beautiful. The backs are kind of red. Stems are red, and we've got a ton of beautiful aerial roots up in there. And it's viney, so probably going to need a moss pole. Let's check out the roots. They've packaged up a good chunk of the stalk, so I'm hoping there's a ton of roots. Yeah, we've got a nice, good root system. And the root system is, other than these aerial roots up here, primarily on a stalk that looks like it was trimmed off. And then this piece grew off of it. So that's kind of neat to have that knowledge. Now the roots look pretty good. All of the small roots look a little bit like they rotted. We're missing a lot of sheaths, which has been kind of the theme here. But there's a lot of white roots too, and there's a lot of root. So I think we can make do. And then we have one more plant, and it's another one that I haven't heard of, but it's the biggest one, and the root system is heavy. So I'm actually kind of expecting there to be a stalk in there. It's a Philodendron lime fiddle. I have no idea what this is. They taped this one up good. Oh, it's a golden dragon. Okay, yeah, it says golden dragon on the Phytosanitary certificate. This is a golden dragon. It's a big golden dragon. Wow. What I love about golden dragons is the patterning, and sometimes they look like somebody took a bite out of them. Like this one's kind of uneven. I absolutely love that. This is a big, healthy plant. We've got a new leaf coming in, and it's almost as big, I'd say half as big as the one that I've had for about a year. So that's amazing. Wow. I'm gonna need to get a bigger pot if I'm gonna put my goldens together, which obviously I am. I need a big pot. Because you can see him, I think, but this is my golden down here. He's in probably an 8-inch. And most of him's way off. Well, I guess that's not off camera, I don't think. Way over here, this is like my newest leaf. It's pretty huge. I don't even know if you can see that. But if I compare it, this one's just as nice. This one's actually a little bit more green, a little bit lighter in color. It's got like bigger chunks of variegation in some places. Let's get into the roots. This is a hefty root system. So we've got a pretty gangly like stem that it's on, and by gangly I mean that it's kind of like twisty and turny, like a broken hand. But that's a hefty root system. A lot of these roots actually look pretty old. The small roots look a little mushy. This looks like it is an old plant. I do hope it adjusts well. But this is a plant that I know I can take care of, that I know does really well in my conditions, oddly enough. So I'm excited for this guy to adjust, and possibly when I replant this guy with the new one, we might just move them both over into leca, because I want him to be moved to leca eventually, and they both won't fit in the pot, which is the only reason I haven't moved him over yet. I'll probably do that in a video. Yeah, here's these guys. So the last time I imported plants, I put them almost right away into leca, simply because I put them in water for a little bit and then nothing really happened, so I stuck them in leca, and they seem to be happy with that. So I'm thinking, because I don't have any moss anywhere. I think I'm all out of moss. I have like moss sheets, but that's not the same thing. At least the ones that I can't just put into water. Because I think some of these guys will need to be put into water, like the smaller root system plants. I think it'll be important that I can see the roots. At least it's important to me. So I think I'm actually going to do that. Now I'm going to need to research this guy before I put him in anything. I don't know if Hoya do good in water. I don't know. So I need to look into that. But I'll probably add the clip of me potting right here. Alright, so this was my Aroid Market haul slash unboxing. A lot of these plants look really good. I'm a little worried about a lot of the root systems, but I will definitely keep you guys updated. I was going to do a winter office slash house tour, but then I realized that a lot of my plants aren't doing well because my apartment's so dry in the winter. And all of my plants almost are in this room, really crammed. I'm struggling with pests for that reason. But this is the moistest room in the house, and not by much, but it is. And so I think I'm going to hold off on my tour until everything's back where it belongs, because anything that is above the screen, like normally, I've had to pull down and is just like sitting on the floor or on the shelves. And this place is pretty chaotic. It would be way too difficult to show you guys anything. So I was going to do a tour like I did last year, but I think I'm going to hold off, at least for now. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any care tips for some of these plants, which I said I'm not too familiar with. If you have any tips, if you own them, if there's anything I must know in order for them to survive, let me know which is your favorite down below. And thank you so much to Aroid Market for sending them to me, and I will see you next time.